Hello, and welcome to another episode of Better Cocktails at Home. I'm Brian Johnson, and we're going to do a little bonus episode in our month of cocktails and drinks from the Big Island. We're not actually making a cocktail. We're just going to talk about some of the spirits, some of our experiences there. But that's because we publish on Mondays, and there was an extra Monday in May. So we're going to do this, a special little thing. Just kind of talk about our experience, some of these really nice spirits we tried, and just maybe give you some tips if you happen to be heading to the Big Island. So let's start with some of these spirits here. So all 5 of these spirits I picked up while I was in the Kona area, Kona Kailua. So this distillery, they're actually on Oahu, and I visited many years ago. And it's called Kohana, and it is hands down my favorite rum / spirit produced in the Hawaiian Islands. Just what they do is just super cool, where they actually grow heirloom variety of sugarcane. So rather than kind of creating a blend or like that, they actually are distilling a very specific variety of sugarcane. They all taste wildly different, which is super cool. So this particular bottle is called lahi. That's the kind of sugarcane it's distilled from. This one is called mahi ula, and they're both delicious, but both very different. And so I just love what they do, and I love their products. And I drank a bottle of lahi while I was in Hawaii for fun, and I picked up these 2 guys to bring home with me. So if you're in Oahu, highly recommend visiting a distillery. If you're anywhere in Hawaii, I highly recommend picking these up, or I think they do distribute some of these outside of Hawaii, but I love their stuff. It's not cheap, but it's super delicious. So the next spirits I want to talk about. So this is from 12th Hawaii Distillery. So they're actually based in Kailua, Kona. So we actually visited this distillery, and it's a relatively small operation, but their products I think are really solid and tasty. They're kind of made from a honey is kind of the base of the distillate. So they source honey from locally on the Big Island, where a beekeeper has his bees, and he kind of moves them around the island different times of the year, yields different kinds of honey. And so this is kind of the base one that's distilled. This is this product that's just been aged for some period of time. And then this is basically, I think this product kind of infused with Kona coffee beans. And so it's actually a really nice coffee. I hesitate to say liqueur because it's not really that sweet. It's really kind of a coffee spirit kind of in a way. These are really nice products, and I don't think they're getting distributed much outside of Hawaii or the Big Island even. So if you're over there, definitely worth a stop. Check it out. Just taste through them. He has a vodka that we didn't purchase because I'm not big into vodka. These are all, I enjoyed it. Super fun when to talk to him. So those were the kind of spirits I hauled back with us in our suitcases. Not a ton, but enough to get us through for a little while. And now a couple other things. So this is, I didn't pick this up on this trip. I picked it up last time I was in Hawaii. This is an Okolehao. And so this is a cane spirit with tea root kind of distillate. And it's really an interesting thing. You see some of the old, or some of the, not old, but some of the old recipes that call for this. There's not a ton of them in terms of cocktails. Some people say sub in bourbon. I actually don't think I would sub in a bourbon, honestly. I would do kind of a really flavorful, lighter rum. So like this particular spirit is actually unaged, so it's clear. It's just kind of like a little bit crispness to it. So I don't know. To me, like subbing bourbon in for this is not going to do the same at all. I think this is a better with a light rum substitute. If you have a chance to pick up this, it's a fun bottle to play with, especially for some old Hawaiian cocktails, and then just to kind of taste some of their kind of what's a traditional distilled spirit in Hawaii. So those are kind of spirits I want to talk about. Another fun thing I picked up in Hawaii while we were there, and I'll talk a little bit about the cocktail scene and kind of that sort of thing. So we went to Don the Beachcomber Bar. It's at the Royal Kona Hotel Resort, and picked up this mug. I kind of like this, by Brad Parker. It's an interesting style. And so the drinks we had in Hawaii are really they were okay. So this, it's a tiki bar, Dong the Beachcomber. It really has nothing to do with the old Dong the Beachcomber. It's just the name. And it's not really a tiki bar because there's like giant TVs with sports on them everywhere, which in my book doesn't make a tiki bar. But the views are incredible and the drinks are okay. So we had a variety of Mai Tais. We were there because that's kind of like what you get on Hawaii vacations is Mai Tais. Even though it's not really, anyways. Most of the Hawaii Tais were like passable at best. They were like super pineapple-y. They kind of just dump in the pineapple. We have some that kind of tasted okay. Probably the best one I had was at Merriman's, where they kind of do like this lilikoi honey foam on top, and it's pretty like it's a well-made, interesting take on a Mai Tai. They need to use better rums though. But the food there is delicious, so I'd highly recommend hitting up Merriman's if you're on the Big Island. Was very good. But I think the best cocktails we had on the island while we were there was at a place called Umeki's, where they weren't like incredible, but they were like decent, solid drinks to enjoy while we're there. I would love to see the cocktail scene expand there. It would just be super cool to be able to go to like a really nice bar and just enjoy some really nice, well-made drinks. Hopefully they'll get there. I know Oahu is definitely coming that direction. There's a lot of nice stuff on Oahu. It's more populated, obviously. But yeah, so it was a really fun experience. And I kind of knew going into it we weren't going to be getting incredible cocktails there, which is totally cool. It's not why we're going. But yeah, it's really, anytime you're sort of in Hawaii and staring at the ocean and waves crashing, and it kind of doesn't really matter how good the Mai Tai is, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so we had a good time, brought back some delicious stuff. And I thank you for watching Better Cocktails Home, and we'll see you next month.